Based off of pure math, cost to borrow rates, and the premium to short AMC, it looks like AMC stock is about to rip. And we're going to break down the math in simplest terms for you guys, where I think AMC stock could go, when I think it could rally. That's what we're going to get into here in this video. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, subscribe to the channel. Number 3, most importantly, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. So let's dive into it first things first. And I think I've been pretty clear. If not, we'll clear it up here in this video. The data supports that these hedge funds are expecting the worst on April 27th. They are betting their whole short positions on it. And like a lot of us have discussed and realized, that nothing will happen on April 27th. You might get a judgment, you might get new information. I doubt it. I bet you get another court date with basically the settlement and other things being open for questioning for 60 days. I'm sure that happens April 27th, but I doubt you get anything definitive on April 27th. And we've talked about the option activity quite extensively here on the channel over the last couple of days and weeks, and specifically I'm watching April 28th. This is the day after April 27th, and the calls open interest is now at about 63.5%. Puts is sitting at 76.37%. Last Monday, this call open interest percentage was about 9%. It's went up a lot. And that kind of shows you a little uncertainty. Some hedge funds want to hedge out some of their bets here. But by and large, there's still 7 puts for every 2 calls on this option expiration. So hedge funds are hoping for the worst. And if you look at the actual breakdown of the strikes that are being purchased for April 28th, and we have that data right here for you, the open interest for the $2 put is at 78,000. These contracts are going for $2 a piece. At the $3 strike, you're looking at 81,000 for open interest, and these are going for about $3 to $4 a piece. Now, a lot of these hedge funds continue to buy these options, and you could see the open interest and the volume increase on these on a day-by-day basis. Now, this is telling you that they expect a lot of bad to come. Now, some of these options were purchased when AMC was at its lowest, because these hedge funds don't usually have the best timing, right? So they did purchase a lot of these options for much higher prices than where they are at right now. Let's be clear about that. They're getting washed out on these options as AMC has defied what they have expected to happen. They've lost on these options, and they're shortly going to lose on their short positions as well. And really, a lot of this rally, number 1, comes down to the courts, right? Like we just went over. Hedge funds are expecting the worst, and you can see this in their positioning, that they're absolutely expecting AMC to fall like a rock April 27th. Now, if it does not, that's a problem. But even if it falls a little or goes higher a little, this is the real problem. The cost to borrow rates. And we've went over countless and countless of articles and people's opinions on why the cost to borrow rates could cause a short squeeze soon with AMC. We've went over that over the last couple of weeks. Like, this is a wide opinion here. But let's talk some of the numbers and some of the math here. So I did just a fictitious options trade where a hedge fund shorted $100 million of AMC at a 500% cost to borrow rate. It's not 1,000%. It's not 200%. It's 500%, roughly where you were trading at during this period of time when you've seen the short interest go from 22% to 26%. You were around 500% or higher cost to borrow rates during this time. I like to be a little bit more conservative, so we just are going to call it 500% because a lot of shorts took out their short positions at like a 500% cost to borrow rate. Now, if you shorted $100 million of AMC, right, at 500% cost to borrow rate, that's going to cost you $500 million in a 12-month period. Now, if you break that down by month, that's $41.5 million every single month. That means that after 2 months, you're basically going to be break even on the trade. Or 3 months, you're going to be down about $25 million. Well, I mean, considering the overall value, right? Be down about $25 million. Now, if AMC stock does not go up, that's a big problem. Now, where the percentage of this arbitrage trade actually is anywhere from 100 to 125%, meaning that's how high APE could rally from here. And that's why these hedge funds are short in AMC. After 3 months, maximum 4 months, you're literally going to be negative on this trade no matter what. No matter what. And that's where I think April 27th is going to be very bullish for AMC, but not only April 27th, heading into April 27th as well. And I want to take a look at the option activity a little bit more as well to try to think about where AMC stock could go. But before we do that, let's look over some of the Ortex numbers here briefly. AMC is on the threshold securities list as well. And I should point that out because usually AMC is on the threshold securities list when there is large option expirations. Call it naked shorts, call it just market makers with their options, right? Call it what it is. It doesn't matter to me. It's buying pressure that's going to be coming. And just by the end of this week, you got about 14 million FTDs from now until Friday that will need to be covered. Not even to mention the following week after that, where you're going to see 2 million FTDs on Monday, 1 million FTDs on Tuesday, on Wednesday 1.6 million FTDs. Sorry about that. 1.6 million FTDs, it looks like on Tuesday. On Wednesday or on Thursday, you're going to have 1.2 million FTDs. And on Friday, you're going to have 3.1 million FTDs. So you're going to have another roughly 6 to 8 million FTDs that come due that week as well, which will again be some buying pressure. So don't lose sight in that. And historically, whenever AMC's cost to borrow rates as well as the FTD spike, there's a rally in AMC stock. That's pretty straightforward. If you guys have been involved in this name for a while, then you know that, right? Every time that happens, AMC does rally. To the extent of how high you rally is, I mean, that's the biggest question. Now, I'll give my own personal opinions on this next rally, but the live short interest of free float currently sitting at 26.24%. The live short interest, 135.49 million shares that are currently sold short, 500,000 shares available right now, 211% cost to borrow rates. Option activity on the day, 0% positive order value, 23 orders totaling about $8.5 million. So some pretty bearish numbers as far as option activity. And as you can see, shorts are definitely shorting the stock still. Literally every single day, even on the day so far, AMC looks to close the day down about 3%. Okay, so we got that established. Let's take a look at the option activity from Stonk Tracker as well, just while we're on the topic of options. And for this upcoming Friday, you got about 60,000 calls in the money. Out the money calls at 415,000. In the money puts at 206,000. Out the money puts at 655,000. For April 28th, option expiration, you have 10,000 calls currently in the money, 68,000 calls out the money, 16,000 puts in the money, and 233,000 puts that are out of the money. And just looking at these numbers here, it looks like someone expects a big move this week, even rather than next week. You have 6 times the amount of calls on this option expiration for this week than next week. And you have almost triple the option activity for this Friday relative to next Friday. So it looks like a move might come sooner than we expect. I don't know. I don't know what that catalyst or what that news would be, but based off the option activity, it looks like it could come sooner rather than later. Now, specifically around April 27th, I think if you get anything that is bad news for the hedge funds, that just based off the cost of borrow rates, they're going to have to call it quits, a vast majority of them. And I do think that is going to give you potentially hundreds, thousands of a percent of rally in AMC stock. It all depends on what is said, right? If the judge were to dismiss this outright and say that, AMC cannot do this reverse split, then I think you get thousands of percents. If they just delay this, if they schedule another court date, open it up for comments, but nothing is set in stone on April 27th, that's where I think you get hundreds of percents of a rally. Now, AMC does tend to work with a lag, so it wouldn't surprise me if you're semi-flat or semi-down or semi-up coming by April 27th or April 28th, and then that following week, shit really starts to hit the fan. That would also not surprise me. So don't be too shocked if that is how things to ultimately play out. Now, if you take a look at the charts with AMC, let's just, narrow this up a little bit so we can talk about some big numbers here. So, roughly trading at $5.06 per share. So right there, a 100% rally from here would be $10 per share, roughly. A 300 or 230% rally would be $16 per share. A 400% rally would be about $25 per share. Let's go ahead and zoom this out a little bit more. And a 1,000% rally, you can't even hardly see, would be about $55 from here. And look at the comparison, the scope and scale of what that rally could be. If all of these shorts are caught off sides at the highest short interest numbers that you have seen with AMC ever. June, the short interest was only 22 to 24% during that, middle of April or middle of May through that beginning of June period, because AMC rallied the very beginning of June. The short interest was in between 22 and 24%. Now you're sitting at 26.5%. So I do think if you look at it like that, and this trade falls apart for the hedge funds, it's very well possible that AMC stock could rally 1,000% or more. It all depends, like I said, again, I'll say it again, what the courts have to say. And obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Something crazy could come out. They could have millions of shares ready to shore upon any bad news. All of that is possible. But based off of kind of what I see and what I know and what I've experienced over the last couple of years with AMC, when everyone is betting against AMC, it's usually when you want to be long in AMC. And especially when you're seeing numbers like this, it's not like everyone's negative on AMC and the short interest is 10%. It's 26.5%. It's the highest it's been. Cost of borrow rates are at the highest levels that they have been at. So, in regards to that, I'm very excited. Leave your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section where you think AMC stock could go after April 27th. Now, keep in mind, it's very well possible that the judge does let this go through, that it does fall after April 27th. Then we're going to be looking forward to the capital raise and how AMC raising capital will affect the company as well, because I think that also gives you a short squeeze, but it doesn't happen as instantaneously as a rejection in court would. So that's it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.